All right. Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. It's Friday for me. Might be Saturday for some of you. Um, like usual, it'd be fun if you could let me know where you're watching from, if you're watching, or even if you're doing something else and just have this on in the background. That's cool too. I probably wouldn't put test automation on in the background of something, but I might pretend that I was watching it in the foreground and then maybe be watching Netflix or something. So it is automation happy hour. What are we going to do today? Well, we're going to automate a different app than the only app we've automated so far. The last 4 times we've done this, we've automated Zoom, which was fun and also not fun at the same time. We learned a lot though, and we made a lot of progress, and I think it gave the Zoom SDET team something to look at. But this week we're going to move on to a different app. I've got a couple fun apps lined up in the pipeline. A couple of them aren't quite ready, I think, to play with. But today I'm actually going to automate the Craigslist app. Now, depending on where you're from, I don't know if Craigslist is a global thing. I'm guessing it would be, because why not? But if you don't know Craigslist, Craigslist is a website where you can try and buy things from other people or sell things to them. I usually use it to find places to rent, things like that. So they're kind of famous for having a very, very basic design. So for example, let's see. I only knew that they had a web page for a long time. So Craigslist.com. I'll go to the Vancouver one because I live in Vancouver. So it looks like this. Very Web 1.0. Make it a little bigger. There's all kinds of interesting stuff. Craigslist. Craigslist Misconnections is a pretty famous place for reading funny or sometimes heartbreaking things from people in your area. You can tell that I've tried to buy or sell stuff for my toddler on here before. So anyway, here's Craigslist. It's super, basic design. No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about Craigslist. No, go away. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Bye-bye. Okay, well, that helped me to see where some people are from. We got some folks from St. Louis, Missouri, and from London. 2 very different places. But hello. Welcome to everybody. So here's Craigslist. You can click on things and read very basic information. This is all like the default serif font in the browser, right? So super low tech, but very useful, very popular. And I was looking around at different apps I could automate, and turns out that Craigslist has what appear to be native mobile apps. So that's cool. And I thought I would give it a whirl because I figured it's got to be pretty simple. Their website is uber simple. Their app probably can't be that much more complicated. So I was hoping we might be able to walk through some kind of user flow or another. So I don't actually know what we're going to do. I haven't played with the app before. All I've done so far is get it on our phone. Our phone. It's really my phone. Our test phone here, a Samsung Galaxy S7, I think. And I'm using the Visor app to mirror the screen of the phone to my desktop. And I can actually interact with the phone just by clicking on this window here too. So it's kind of a way of using it without having to switch contexts and, move over to my device and things like that. So I've got the Craigslist app here. A note about this week's music. They're trying to have background music just because sometimes you have to wait for Appium to do something or whatever. And it's nice to not just listen to my heavy breathing. What was I going to say? Oh, music, right. So when I do these streams, I usually just play music that I'm listening to at the moment. But apparently, you know, sometimes videos get automatically taken down because they then contain copyrighted content from these artists. And obviously, I'm not trying to, you know, present the music as owned by me or anything. And that's why I have the artist name and track name of what's currently playing, in case you're interested and want to go buy some music. But I don't want my videos to get taken down, so I'm trying to do just instrumental music this time, and I'm starting off with a bunch of instrumental music that I've written myself over the years for different purposes. So it'll be a bit random, but will satisfy the purpose of having some background music. So let's get back to our application. Here is Craigslist. We can look at it in terms of use privacy policy. Not very interesting. Get started. That looks like what we want to do. Not sure why we have to tap a button to get started, but okay. Wow, the design of this app is incredible. It is just as I suspected. This was probably designed by Craig himself. I mean, it looks like somebody just took like very basic UI components and just stuck them in here. So location permissions, sharing your location is recommended. I think that's fine. So I'm also keeping notes for myself what we're going to need to look at in terms of our flow. So we're going to want to click this share location button. We'll have to deal with this alert. Say allow. Apparently it didn't really work though, because it's still asking us. So type a city or zip postal code. So I'm gonna type Vancouver. Oh, this is interesting. Looks like if we follow the same flow that I'm doing, we'll have the opportunity to try and automate one of these, dynamic drop-down boxes. And I'm not sure how these are implemented on the Android side, so we'll actually have to see. But I'm not in Vancouver, Washington. I'm in Vancouver, BC. I'm going to tap that. And then we're going to choose this location. Then we get to decide what we want to buy. What we want to look for anyway. Not quite sure what we want to test here or what kind of flow we want to look through. I guess maybe housing is one of the most common things. So we can tap housing. Oh. This is actually not a horrible design. I mean, the thing about Craigslist design is while it's ugly, it's extremely functional and simple to use, which there's a lot to be said for that. Okay, so we could look at apartments and housing for rent. Looking for a place to rent. Surrey, that's out of town. Big family home, basement suite. Expensive. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to test here? Trying to think. I mean, maybe just that we can search for something. I guess we could test these filters. That's something that we'll probably be interested in. Okay, lots of different options here. So maybe we could try and maybe set a max price and apply the filter. Set max price of, let's say, 2,000 Canadian. Hit done and hit apply. Then it'll search. So I'm not sure what we're gonna wait for here. I guess just maybe we're interested in the top result. I guess the top one would be the most recent one. It'd be interesting to see how we can distinguish between these different ads. Be interesting to also filter by things that only have a only things that have an image. Oh, wow. So this is all the way down here. So has image. Okay. That could be interesting to get to. We'd have to do some swiping to get down there, and then tap has image. So first thing that has an image and has a max price of 2,000. So I guess once we hit apply, we could, verify that these little things show up as expected. Yeah, then we could tap on this first result and maybe star it to add to our favorites. Unclear if that will keep state. I don't know, this is starting to feel like a pretty long flow, so probably want to start just working on automation and see how much of this we can get done. I wonder what reply does. Does that pull up an email browser? I see. Or we can just view the contact info. So that could be an interesting solution here. Then we could close this out. Okay, so I think at this point it is time to start building out a page object model. And to do that, we're going to use Appium Desktop. But first, let's go to our code. So this is our code project. Code is up on GitHub, appium-pro/ahh or ahh, depending on where you're from in the English-speaking world, or where you learned English. And if you didn't ever learn English, then I hope you're enjoying the background music. I did mention to somebody that I might speak Spanish today, but probably not. I haven't spoken Spanish in a long time. Enough about languages. So what are we going to do? Here we have our page object models, and we want to create a directory for Craigslist. So we'll make a directory called Pages Craigslist. And then we can copy one of our existing page objects. Like the notes one is going to be really simple. Something we used before for Zoom. And let's see, we can create our Craigslist pages. Now, what was the first page that we came up to? It was that, what was it called? Or what was on? It was like Get Started. So we'll call it Get Started page. Get Started page. And it extends base page. And then the only thing we're gonna do on this is it's gonna have a Get Started button. And we don't yet know what its locators will be. By the way, if this is your first time tuning in, we are using Python. We are using typed Python, so it's a little bit closer to Java than Python normally is, but we're using Python. It's pretty easy to follow for people coming from a variety of languages. If anyone's joining me and having a fun afternoon, evening, morning beverage, you can also tell me what you're enjoying. It'd be fun to see. Okay. Typically, if we're doing a cross-platform page object, we're going to need both an Android and an iOS version. But we're not doing a multi-device flow right now, so I'm just going to worry about Android and not implement an iOS version. So what can we do on our Get Started page? Well, we can get started. So we'll create a little method called Get Started. And it doesn't take any arguments. And it will return another page object, but for now we haven't implemented that yet. Okay, So let's then load up Appium Desktop. Oh, should have loaded that earlier. Meanwhile, we can also go to our test configuration. By the way, I've just been building this is your first time watching, I've just been building up all of these methods over the course of our previous happy hours. So you can either check out the repo and read through to get an idea of where things are at, or watch some of the old episodes. Those are all up online. You can find them at Headspin University. So we're gonna need to create a new capability set for Craigslist. So I'm gonna copy the one that we did for Zoom and try and do the same thing for Craigslist. I'll just call it CL Android Capes. Well, that might not be very descriptive if I come back to this in a year. So we'll call it Craigslist. We're gonna be on platform, Android. Instead of app package and activity, we're actually gonna use the app path. And that's because I actually have an APK for Craigslist. That will enable us to make sure that we always start in the same clean slate every time we run a test, because we'll uninstall and reinstall the application. So that will help a lot. So I have the APK on my machine because I pulled it from my device earlier, and I know where it is on my machine. But obviously, if you're implementing this, you would need to put it in a different place. Mine happens to be there. And we're going to use UI Automator 2 and make sure we have a long new command timeout just in case we do any debugging. So it's good we built that out while we're waiting for Appium Desktop to start. So now we want to inspect our application. Sorry, I can't make the interface any bigger, but I can. Does zooming in do anything for you? Maybe. So we can create ourselves some new desired capabilities, a new set of desired capabilities to launch Craigslist. So platform name, Android, and we had device name, also Android, and we had app. That was this path here, and we had automation name UI Automator 2. And with Appium Desktop, we don't need to worry about new command timeout because Appium Desktop disables new command timeout entirely. So let's start a session. I think that's all we need. We'll see. Oh, and I forgot to show you, but I do have Appium running here in another window. So here's the Appium server. It's already launched. I've been using the Appium 2.0 beta, which is only on my computer at this point because I still haven't got the initial pull request in. It's taking me a while, but oh yeah, we can also show you see my screen. What's going on here? Oh, okay, so it looks like Appium Desktop started the Craigslist app, but it looks like we're gonna fail because, as you can see, we have this error, incorrect package and activity. It found this package and activity, but it looks like it was looking for a different one. So it found main activity, but it was looking for a different activity. Which activity? What is it looking for? Splash activity. Right, so this is splash activity was the launch activity that Appium detected, but then it immediately switched over to the main activity. And so from Appium's point of view, it's still waiting for a splash activity to load. It doesn't realize that it ever loaded. So it's just going to keep retrying and it won't work. So what we want to do is actually set the activity that we're waiting for. So that fully qualified activity name, we can go back to Appium Desktop and say, this is called App Activity Cape. It's the way I say in my brain, the way I say capabilities, shorthand, a cape. Unfortunately, it's not as fun as a real cape would be. And it's not that we want this as the app activity. This is what we want the app wait activity to be. So the actual app activity is the one that Appium detected inside the APK called splash activity. But that's not the one we want to wait for. We want to wait for this main activity. But Appium doesn't know that, this is the one we want to wait for unless we tell it. So I'm also going to save these capabilities. Craigslist Android. So let's see if that works any better. Looks like zooming my screen actually does make things a little bigger for you all, so. Okay, you can see that the app is launching. We got a session this time. Great. I'll refresh the source and screenshot. Awesome. There is the Craigslist app. So here's our Get Started button. My goodness, this button is has no kind of accessibility ID on it, has no identifiers of any kind. That's no good. There's also this Get Started text on it. That appears to be unique. It is a text view. But this XPath query is not something we want to use. It has this warning shows us. So I think probably we're going to have to just hope that this text is going to be unique and find it by the text. So if I zoom back out here, go back to our page object that we're building. What was it called? It was called Get Started page. And it was in Craigslist Get Started page. So this Get Started button, we are going to use XPath, and the query that I'm gonna try and use is the thing whose text is Get Started. Was it lowercase? Yeah. And all we're gonna do is wait for the Get Started button to show up and then click it. And then ultimately we're gonna wanna return the next page that we get to. So let's actually go here and see what page we get to. All right, this is the location permissions page. So, let's create that page. Pages, Craigslist, page.py. Location permissions page. I'm just abbreviating because I don't have too much horizontal space to work with. So share location, and we don't know what that is yet. And then the thing that you can do on this page is share the location. And to do that, we are going to, first of all, click the share location button. But first of all, let's see what it is. Are there any IDs on this thing? Nope. It is a button, but there is nothing identifying about it. So it looks like we'll need to use the text as well. Something's a little wonky with this position of this button here. There's that button. Here's this text view. Yeah, it does have the text of share location. So we can again use by XPath. Oh, is it lowercase? Yeah. Very easygoing Craigslist. Just lowercase. Okay. So once we do that, what happens? Allow Craigslist to access this device's location. Okay. We know this is an alert, but I'm not entirely sure if we'll want to use the alert method and accept it or not. Potentially we can, although I don't think we have access to check the alert command in Appium Desktop itself. So, but we can certainly tap this allow button, and it looks like this actually has an ID on it because it's a native Android control. So it comes from a different package. It comes from com.android.package installer. But we should be able to use this as an elements ID. So allow location by ID, and we'll do this here. And we'll also wait for that to show up, allow location, and we'll click it. Okay, now that we've got this page defined, all right, we're gonna need ourselves, we need to actually import all of these pages here. So from pages.craigslist.getStartedPage, import getStarted page, and from pages.craigslist.location permissions page, import perms page. And we actually want to put this one first because getStarted page is going to require it. So we're going to want to also import the location perms page in our getStarted page because that is what the getStarted method will actually return. So how do we instantiate a page object? I forget what we decided in our design, so I'm going to go back to our Zoom test. All right, we have this instance method that we use to construct a page object. So we're going to return location permissions page.instance, and we're going to pass it self.driver. Great. So now our getStarted page will return our location permissions page. That'll be convenient later on. So we can get back to building out our page object model, sharing location here. Tap this and move on. Okay, so here's where we actually try and type in where we're located. This is an editable text field, but again, it has no identifiers on it other than a label, which I'm thinking is going to be unique here, especially on this page. So this is the choose location page. So let's create yet another page object. Choose location page. Choose location page, and this has a location field, and we are going to use XPath for the thing whose text is city or zip/postal code. And the method, the only thing we can do on this page is to choose the location. And I think what we can provide in terms of input is the location, which is a string, and the potentially a typed location. So what the location that we type might be different from the location that we're looking for. So for example, I could type in, van, right? Type in van. And the thing that I want might be here. It might be Ludgvan, England. Ludgvan, England. Might be what I want. It's not. I want Vancouver. But I could say Vancouver, right? So anyway, so we might want to provide the ability for the caller of this function to provide a type location. It might differ from the actual location, but so we'll say if typed location is none, type location is the location that they provided. So if they just provide one argument, we'll just type that in, and then we'll also attempt to select that. So we're going to wait for the location field to show up, and then we're going to send keys. We're going to send in the typed location. And then we're going to need to wait for something custom to show up, right? So if I so let's say we type in Vancouver. Now I have all these options, right? Let's see what options we have. I want Vancouver, BC, ultimately. And again, it looks like I get nothing other than it's a text view, and it might have the text that I want. So that's okay, as long as I can tap on that. So what I'm going to do is then also wait for something that's going to be by XPath. Yeah, it's going to be by XPath, just because I'm not using driver.final, I'm using self.wait, which has a different argument structure. So what I'm going to do is create a Python format string where the text equals to location here. Now, I'm not doing anything like escaping characters in the text. I'm trusting that the tester who's designing this test is going to think about that, or we're just dealing with simple cases. And then we're going to click that. And that will get us to, that will get us to where we want to go. And now that we've created our choose location page, we need to add it to our list of pages. And it's called choose location page. Choose log page. And now that we have that importable, we can go back to our location permissions page and also import choose locations page. And that will now be what we return, because that's the page we get to after we share our location. Instance of driver. Okay. Now let's, so we were at choose location page. So now we can keep walking through our flow here. So I'm going to tap this here. Now, on this page, I suppose I should do some kind of, asserting, like assert that this is the actual city that I wanted. We could do that in a variety of ways. Like I could take a screenshot of this and we could see if there's an image match. But I'm actually just going to trust that it found the right thing, because we'll only get to this page if we tap something that's has the exact text of Vancouver, BC. So we can just trust that, Google Maps knows where Vancouver, BC is. I guess another way of putting it is we're not really testing Google Maps here. We're testing Craigslist. So hopefully we can just assume that this integration is solid. So all we want to do here is choose this location. This is actually, I guess, still part of the choose location page. It's just another view within it. So now we want to get this button, choose this location. This is just another basic text button. So choose location. So always always the X path. Here we go. So then we'll wait for choose location to pop up and click that, and then see where we get. So tap that there. It's a very dramatic music right now that I wrote 15 years ago. I don't know if it really matches the Craigslist vibe, but it's okay. We can be dark and dramatic for 5 minutes. So here is our main page where we're looking for housing, right? So yeah, again, no identifiers, but maybe housing is unique here. Let's hope so. So I guess what we'll call this is the what is this? The category page. Yeah, kind of like that, because we're defining what category we want to well, actually this is the search page, isn't it? This is the search page, right? That's the active tab here. And then on the search page we can browse, look at the history, things that have been saved. So we'll call this search page. Pages Craigslist search page.py, and search page. Don't know what we're gonna have there. What are we gonna do on this page? We're going to well, we can browse a category, right? So we're gonna choose browse category as our function name, and the parameters that this is going to take is at least a category, which is a string, right? So then we're going to wait for something with that text to show up. This is becoming such a common XPath search. I'm wondering if we should actually just have a helper for this. Wonder if we can actually call methods in. Yeah, why not? Well, yeah, that's probably worth it. So if we go to our base page, we can create a static method. And we're going to call this text element, or just maybe we'll call it text locator, and it returns a tuple of by and string. I thought we defined locators. Yeah, we did define locator somewhere, so we can just say this returns a locator. And its input is the text. So we'll return by XPath, just the same thing that we've been doing this whole time. So now we can go back all the different places that we've used this. Get started page, and now we can just say base page text locator. Get started. We don't really save a whole lot of typing, but we do save having to, change our XPath if somehow that that logic changes. So we'll do that. The next one is the location permissions page, and this is this page text locator. It's called share location, and then the choose location page. So this one was called text locator city or zip/postal code. And this one it's called choose location. And then here, our waiter looks a lot simpler. It's just base page, text locator, and then we send in that text. We don't even need the by class anymore. And what was the other page that we were implementing? It was called search page.py. Right, so now here, instead of this whole XPath thing, we can just say base page text locator category, like that. Okay, so now back to our playing around here. What if we do tap on this? What happens? We get all this. So we have a category and a subcategory, right? So if I want apartment/housing for rent, again, we're just going to use a text one. So we're going to need 2 parameters, category and subcategory. So we're going to click each of these. Gopi asked a question, how do we declare a page object if an item's accessibility ID on the list are indexed? Not quite sure I understand the question. You mean if they don't have any I think I see what you're asking, like if there was an accessibility ID on the categories but if they didn't correspond to the name of the category. Well, if you could always assume that you knew which one category 1 and category 2 were, then you could just use those IDs, or you could do like what we're doing here and use the text. Okay, so here's something interesting. This is a text view, which has a bit of text that we can't actually see. This is like some kind of weird icon. It's odd. I wonder if this is like a Unicode symbol or maybe an emoji. I mean, it's not an image view. I'm kind of curious about that. Maybe a UI Automator viewer will show us a different type of text. I think maybe because we're in the middle of an Appium session, can't do that. Maybe I can look this up. It wouldn't be Unicode, would it? I'm not sure. Or maybe it's not really text. Maybe it is actually an image element of some kind. I mean, it looks like an image. Okay, so here we are encountering our first challenge. But anyway, let's start to build out our... So we're now basically on a different page. We're on the... Here, let me refresh this for us all. We are on... What is this called? The add list page or something like that. Item list page, or maybe just the list page, or maybe the search. Yeah, I guess the search results page is really what it is. So let's make ourselves a search results page. Pages, Craigslist, search results, page.py. Oh, before we do anything here, we go back to search page. Now we can add this to our init. Pages.craigslist.search page. And now we can go back to our choose location page and return search page. Return search page instance self.driver. Okay, now search results page. We're going to change search to search results. And the action that we have on the search results page is to, well, we can update the search filter. So if we want to make this like a really general thing, we'd probably want to pass in a bunch of dictionaries and things like that. But I don't think it's really worth our time to try and make this super general right now. We just had a couple things we wanted to do. So I think right now I'm just gonna hard code max price and has image. So I'll just keep the method to filter max price and image, something like that. And max price is going to be integer of some kind. And we don't know what this will return yet. So the first thing we want to do is figure out how to get that filter button. I wish I knew how to... Should wonder if I go to their webpage, maybe they have the same filter icon. Not sure. I don't think they do, but it's housing. No, they just have the filter here. But what if I make it like I'm looking on a web page? If the mobile web version looks like they have just this options thing. Well, it looks like we might need to find by image. Don't necessarily want to do that unless I have to. But here's what we can do. Click on something else. Then I can just take a little snapshot of this thing here. And now we have an image. And I want to copy that image I hope my image processing stuff is all set up. So I'm going to copy from desktop. We've got the screenshot from today, and I'm going to copy it to Pages, Craigslist. I'm going to call it filter.png. Okay. So now we're going to need the filter, and it's going to be mobile by, and we need to import that. Where's a mobile by that we can import? I think from notes page had one. Yeah. All right. Mobile by image, and the you know what, I don't think we're gonna want to use, I think we'll want to use driver dot find element by image with all this. Yeah. And let's just see what this takes. It takes an image path, string corresponding to the path of an image. Okay, that's good. So now we just need to say that the filter image is called filter.png, and filter image path is called, we're gonna need import OS. Path.join. How do I get the file, the current file directory in Python? Yeah, it's os.path.join, then os.path.dirname file filter. I think this is going to give us the right one. Filter image path. That's all we needed, right? Yeah, the image path. Okay, so at some point when we know this page is loaded, we're going to find this element by its image there, and then we'll click on it. But we don't know if it's there yet, so we can search for something else. Maybe this little category. Oh, and this has a little category. This is another little funny symbol here. I wonder if that will even copy. Okay. So let's say we're going to search for the category drop down. Text locator. Oh yeah. So this is a little symbol we can hopefully, I don't know what will happen if we try and find this, but so we just want to wait for our category drop down. If we see that, then we know that this page is loaded. Then we know we can go ahead and try and find this filter button by image, click it. Okay, let's assume that all will work. And now we got to figure out how to apply our, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Great, so one thing we want to do is set the max price. This is going to be challenging because we've got now text that's not unique. So what we want really is, what we want is an edit text field whose text says max that is a niece or nephew of one that says price. So we can do this with some really advanced, well, it's not super simple XPath. So let's try that. So what we want is an element whose text says price and price. No, not price. And we want its following sibling to have another element, an android.widget.edit text element whose text is max. Let's see if that works. Invalid. So how do I do the following sibling? Is that a function? Ugh. Guess I should look it up. XPath following sibling. Right. That's the thing that I wanted. Oh, actually, I did it the wrong way. I put this here, and then I want a following sibling who is a view group and has an android.widget edit text. And this is an android.view group. Let's see if that works. Found one element. Oh my goodness, that's it. Okay, so this is going to be our XPath for that max price. So even without, identifiers, we can still use XPath to get a fairly good, robust, so max price field, and this is going to be by XPath, like this. That's from selenium.com and by. And okay, so now we're gonna, after we click that filter image path, we're gonna wait for max price field and send keys and send it the max price. Okay, so that should hopefully work. Then the next thing we need to do is find the has image thing. And the problem is that since that's not on the screen, we're not going to be able to find it. So we're going to need to scroll down several times. So what we really want is like a method that does like scrolling until it finds something. But I'm just going to scroll manually just to make sure that, and refresh here just to make sure that we can actually find the thing. Yeah, so it's just text that says has image. So we need to scroll until we find the text has image. Do we have any kind of scroll helper yet? I don't think so. So has image, and we're going to call that, oh, this is just a regular text locator. Has image. And then eventually we're going to want to wait for has image. Click that. And then we're going to want to click this X. This is an image button. It's not very helpful. Is it the only image button on the screen? Probably not. I wonder if we can also just hit back. Maybe. Oh, no. What we want to do is apply. What am I thinking? We want to apply. But apply is probably not unique. Okay, we've got two. But actually, either one of them will work. So we can just find the first one. Yeah, tapping that element seems to do the trick. Great. So we'll want an image called, or an element called apply, and that's just a text locator as well. And yep, this just keeps us on the same page. Okay. So hopefully that will work, but we still have to figure out how to scroll down. So do we have any kind of action helpers in our base page object yet? Let's see. Tap element. We don't appear to have anything along those lines. Could build up a custom pointer. Kind of curious if the Python client has any helpers. Scroll. The element, let's see. This looks very old. Maybe not see original element. Oh, this is probably from the element from which to being scrolling. I'm not quite sure what that means. The element to scroll to. Well, we don't have any elements. We just want to scroll. But I'm kind of curious what the implementation of this is. Touch, and we press on that. Move to release perform. Yeah, this isn't really. Oh, we do have a swipe method. That's helpful. Use coordinates. Still don't quite know if this is the well, what I want to do is, you know what, since we are just actually, you know, kind of running out of time, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about making sure that we have an image. We're just going to filter by the max price. That's it. Okay. So anyway, then we get back here once we've filtered, and yeah, I wonder if there's anything really unique about what there is something that has a content description here, but we don't know what this will be because this content is going to be constantly changing. Well, we're inside of a bunch of scroll views. I guess what we could do is basically this could just be kind of a test of the filtering capability. We could find any text element that looks like it starts with the $sign and parse it and prove that it's less than or equal to the price that we set. Kind of curious. Let's see if we wanted to do that. What would it look like? What are the XPath text functions? Starts with. I think we have a starts with function. Yeah, starts dash with. Text. Is this working? Oh. Starts with. Whose text starts with $. How many of those do we find? We find 2, which is what we expect. Great, so we could get that text, strip out any non-numeric characters, convert it, and make an assertion. So I think that maybe is what we'll do. So we'll create another page object method that just says get prices, and it's going to return a list of integers. So we need from typing import list. So what do we want? We want, I guess we again want to make sure that we wait for that drop down to be present. And then we will say that the elements that we want, so we're going to return a map of what we get is a web element, and we're returning the text of the web element. And how we're getting that is with self-driver.find elements. And by is XPath, and it was find any element whose text started with $. Okay. Nice little one-liner there to get... Oh. We need to convert this into an integer. Pretty sure we can do that in Python. Let's see, though. If I say int... oh, this certainly isn't going to work. Right, so first of all, so let's say the value starts out as 1600 with the strings. So do we have a replace function? Yes. Does that take... Probably want to do regular expression. Import regex, number regex equals re.compile. I think that's how we do it in Python, basically. Anything which is not a number can we replace using I'm just going to look it up. Python regex replace. Yeah, okay. So use sub of, yeah, of the regular expression model. So substitute, and we'll say val. No, that isn't exactly what we wanted. New string. Oh, we needed, we want this one. So this one, the first parameter is regular expression, which is called, we're calling it num regular expression. And then new string is we're going to make it blank, and then the string to be processed is called val. Oh, this was wrong. This means start of string. I really mean not in that class. There we go. So there is, so then obviously we can do int 1600. Okay, awesome. So we can remember all of this stuff. Regular expression dot sub. So we're gonna also import regular expression and non-number. And we want an integer of a regular expression. Substitute non-number to blank in the text of the element. And that's what we're turning into an integer. Yeah, so we're essentially mapping into that lambda method this. There you go, and that looks a little prettier there. Get prices. Okay, so now with all of our page objects built, now that we have the search results page made, we can add it to our from pages.craigslist.search results page, import search results page. And now we can go back to our choose. Oops, we want this one actually in front of search page. Now we can go back to search page and say that we get to the search results page. Okay, so now let's create ourselves a test. Test Craigslist.py, and we'll model it off of test zoom. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna copy one test method for now. And this is called test Craigslist. And this is gonna be test max price filter. And we're gonna want a Craigslist Android driver, webdriver.remote. And we from our pages, we want to import get started page. Get started equals get started page.instance Craigslist Android driver, which we still need to implement. And then where do we get to from get started? It was, I believe, the location perms. Get started. That's the method that we want there. And then choose location page. Why am I not getting syntax on this? Oh, it's called share location, isn't it? Yeah. No, this was the, share location. And then where do we get to from the choose location? Or what do we do on the choose location page, first of all? We choose a location, and we need to pass in the location. Vancouver, BC, and the typed location. Let's say Vancouver. And what do we return there? I believe we returned the search page. And what does our choose location page look like? Yeah, we return the search page. And our search page, what do we do there? Browse category. And we decided, what were the name of the categories here? Apartments. I think it was called housing. If I just go back to browse. Yeah, so housing was the main category. And then apartment / housing for rent. It's the other one there. Okay. And that gave us the results page. Okay, and then on the results page, we want to get the list of prices that we find. Get prices. Before that, we want to filter by max price. We'll say we'll set it to 2,000, and then we'll just say for price and prices, assert that price is less than or equal to 2,000. I mean, we should really say set that as variable up here. Okay, so I think this is a pretty awesome looking test. We haven't run it yet, so it could totally fail, but we did find all of these things. My only hesitation is whether we'll be able to tap that element by its image. Oh, we need to import WebDriver. And we need to build ourselves our Craigslist Android driver, which we'll base on the Zoom Android driver here. That should be what we need. Okay, so let's try and run this. And I will go ahead and kill the Appium session. Oh, we needed to change our app wait activity and our capabilities down here too. Remember that we did that for Appium Desktop, but not in our code. Okay. So now we can run PyTest, and it goes like test, what's this called? Test Craigslist. Pi and the class name, and we only have one function in it, so let's try and run it. Right, moment of truth here. This all works after like an hour and a half of just building a page model from scratch. I'll be very, very pleased. I doubt that it will, but we'll see. This isn't promising. Alas, possibility of glory erased. What is the problem? We couldn't find yeah, looks like we couldn't find the get started button. That's odd. Let's check the Appium logs. Oh, looks like we have a. Oh, yeah. This is the problem here. I've got it invalid XPath. So probably this is an error in our base page. Yep, there's the problem. No bracket there. But see, now I changed it to one place and it's fixed everywhere. I didn't have the opportunity to make that mistake too many times. And I am uninstalling and reinstalling the app on every run here. So just to make sure that we have a reproducible scenario. And if we were automating this for real, obviously we would... Oh, is it still not working? That's not good. What is it this time? Couldn't find something with the text get underscore started? That's not... Oh, yeah. No idea why I put an underscore. Thinking in terms of programming. What was I saying before? Oh, right. We want a totally reproducible test environment. But at the same time, we don't want to have to go through this whole like get started and share location business every single time we run the app. So if we were really automating this for real, we would find ways to make shortcuts. If this was our app, we could do that. There we go. Choose this location. I think I made that. I think I got that wrong. Choose location page. Yeah, I got that wrong. Well, so far the errors have basically been on the level of typos or misremembering what things are called. That's good. Now we can just listen to some nice music. Those are my favorite bands. Sleeping at Last. Guy from Chicago. Beautiful songwriter. Highly recommended. Okay. Choose this location. I saw it tap. Okay. Browse. Housing. Apartments, housing for rent. Now is my biggest doubt. Is it can actually tap that? No, it tapped. It tapped something, but yeah. So we did. So the image finding worked, but it found or tapped the wrong place. So it went to 970 by 180. I mean, it wasn't totally off, but it was off. So why, I mean, it also, no, I don't want to do feedback. Oh my goodness. I mean, could it have found some other section? Let's see how it found. Image template matched. 942, 156. I wish I had the ability to show screen coordinates on here. I mean, I think I can show screen coordinates in developer options. Show pointer location. Right. Okay, so that's an X value of 988, and it was trying to do 970, which is right here. It's a good X value, and a Y value of 180. No, that was wrong. So it did tap where it meant to tap, but it meant to tap at the wrong spot. So that means that it found the wrong location by image. What do I want to do about that? Probably need a better fidelity image. So let's get a screenshot that is exactly the same as the screenshot that Appium uses. So what we can do for that purpose is go back to our find by image on the search results page, and immediately before this, we can say self.driver.screenshot, save screenshot, and I'm gonna save it to my desktop. Then I'll be able to use that to crop out a portion that is exactly the same dimensions as the filter image. That might help. So let's run that again. I really think that if we can get that tapped, I mean, the fallback would be to just tap by location. tapping by image hopefully would be a little bit more secure because we're tapping on something that looks right, not just in a random location. But we'll see. If we can't get tapping by image to work, then we can just tap by an actual location. Okay, so that should save our screenshot. And I'm going to open this up with, you might be able to just do this in preview. And now if I just tools, can I crop this? I thought there was a way to crop it. There we go. So let's save this as filter.png. Don't want any alpha channels, don't think. So now I can copy that into Pages Craigslist. And let's see if that image, which now has the exact same resolution as the screenshot, which Appium is using for the check, let's see if that will help. We'll give this one try. If that doesn't work, I'll change it to tap on the hard-coded coordinates for now. Would also be curious to see if that was actually some kind of like emoji or some kind of text object. I mean, it's obviously an icon, but it's also a text field. So I haven't been checking the chat. I'm sorry if anyone's been saying anything. Nope. Okay. We're all just hanging out or asleep. I love it. What happened? Did we choose this? You know what? I kind of noticed this last time. It tapped it, but the app didn't actually register the tap on the choose location page. Because I think we tapped it before the page was fully loaded. So to get around that, I'm just gonna let's see. Could look for something else which is fully loaded at that point. Right now, I'm just gonna put in a 1 second sleep to make sure that. Actually, what I'm going to do is use a explicit wait, and then once we found it, just make sure that we wait for 1 second after that. So we know it's there, and we give it 1 extra second just to make sure that everything is fully loaded. Again, that's not something we'd probably want to do if we were going to commit this. We'd probably try and find some other element that maybe was taking a while longer to show up on the screen, and then anchor our wait on that element instead. But for now, this is, I think this is fine. Okay. That worked there. Promise housing for rent. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if we actually. Oh yes, $2,000. Find me your places. I love it. Passing test. So great. I think it's been an hour and a half, which is longer than advertised, but shorter than my usual history with Zoom. So let's talk about what we did. So let's first of all look at our test file. Test Craigslist. So here's the test that we kind of ended up deciding we wanted to write, testing the max price filter. We set our max price that we want to filter by just as a local variable. Here are here's the only page that we instantiate. All the other pages that we use, we can just assign as the return value of other actions. So the first action is we click Get Started, then we share our location, then we choose our location by typing it in, and we're actually testing the search box because we're typing in Vancouver, but then we're selecting something which is different from that. We're browsing by category and subcategory. We filtered by max price. We ended up using find by image because that little filter icon couldn't find by any other kind of ID. And in the process of trying to find by image, we learned that the initial image we used apparently wasn't, didn't match well enough to give us a high enough score to click the right place. So we solved that by taking a screenshot and cropping the icon right out of that screenshot and not sort of taking a little snap with my Mac the way I did originally. Then we get the prices of everything that's on the screen at that time. Now I think to make this a real test, we'd want to scroll and scroll and scroll and, get a bunch more prices to verify. But then we use some clever Python regular expression stuff and functional programming patterns, and we get those prices out, and then we can assert on them. So to make all this work, we ended up creating 5 different pages for page objects. And none of them are very complex. They're all, less than 20, 30 lines. So I think this is an example of how you would start to build out your page object for a simple application. And I am grateful to the developers of Craigslist for not making anything super hard. Although they obviously didn't design this app to be tested because there's no identifiers or accessibility IDs on anything. We're just using XPath and text values, which is not ideal, and made us have to, in one case, use a very complicated XPath, this one here about following siblings. So we knew that we wanted a text field that said max, but there were multiple text fields that said max. So we wanted to restrict our search for that text field to one that was a niece or nephew of the price label. And that guaranteed that we got the right text field and not the other max labeled field. So I will... don't know if there's anything in here that I don't want to commit, but I will commit automation happy hour 5 Craigslist code and push this up now. And I'll do a little write-up and try and upload this video. So thanks to everybody for watching. If you have any last questions or comments, put them in the chat and I'll respond either now or another time. So yeah, thanks again for joining. Let your colleagues know that I'm trying to do this every Friday just for fun. And hope you have an awesome weekend. And I hope this was a fun happy hour to kick that off. And you can now go off and do even more fun things or go to sleep or whatever it is. All right. So have a good weekend. Bye.